Good evening and welcome to the April 21st, 2026 meeting of the Hampden Selectboard and Board of Health. Please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. All right. This meeting is being held at the Hampden Town Hall in the cafetorium. Well, since we're not capping anymore, should it just be auditorium from now? Close the kitchen. Kitchen doesn't work anymore, right? Pretty much. The kitchen's like closed, right? Mostly an auditorium now. Forget the cafetorium part.
No cookies.
No cookies. We're in our office. All right, we are recording the meeting as well as broadcasting on Zoom. Is there anyone else recording the meeting? Nope. Okay. Hard to believe. What are our metrics right now, Brian? How many thousands of people watch our meetings afterwards?
How many people are in town? I think we have about 4,000 people.
Yeah, but there must be many out of towners that watch it as well, right?
That's true, yeah.
And the podcast.
Oh, yeah. Pretty soon we'll be selling T-shirts. Right?
With our picture on it.
Yeah.
I think we are actually the only board without a T-shirt. Seeing most of, right, Herb?
Right.
Uh-huh. Lily Ford wearing the bling here for, oh yeah, nice, nice. Okay. Fine. Just get the right town on it. Right, thanks. All right, so we have no minutes. First order of business is to review and sign the annual town meeting warrant. Brian, thank you for all your work on this, and you as well, Warren. So we've knocked it down from the original 67 warrant articles down to 20, which actually is a heck of a reduction. I was joking, but I think we started well, it was over 30.
30, yeah.
Oh. Alrighty. I believe we already last week motioned to close it, and that wasn't done. So, how many copies do you have for signature? Seven?
Right here.
7? You got them all?
Yeah, this is for the sign ones.
Okay.
All right.
All right, so we'll pass those along. And when are you putting them up?
Hopefully tomorrow. We got a constable on.
Shoot.
They're signed already. I'm gonna post it as soon as we can.
Yeah. No error, that's all. Oh, well, that's fine.
You've done that before.
All right. Next, we're going to talk about the town meeting logistics. So it will be on May 11th.
You need to vote to sign them or no?
Voting is,
Sorry?
do the vote to sign them?
You don't think you need to vote? We voted, closed it, and we approved it. I mean, we're just signing it. We don't,
No,
you know.
officially vote and saying or something.
No, we're all set.
Okay. Unless is there something else you're adding to it, Brian? Is there no reason to open it? And
Not this time.
good. All right, so town meeting logistics, let's have it here. Let's start at 6:30. You've already got the company coming, right?
Yep, the AV and so the streaming, the in-house audio is all set and videos all set.
With that company?
Yep.
Okay. And I think we talked about, we really didn't think we had the need for lights outside. With the early starting time, the cut down warrant, and the fact that it stays light till 8:30 or so, pretty well. Everyone agree?
We got some lights in the library, but we got some lights in the library now, right?
Yep. So entry wise, the other question I had was getting back to Mark and seeing if they're anywhere on putting a ramps in.
So that's gonna take some time. They did talk about it the other day. There's no way you can get it done before town meeting.
So basically the north and the south one, they can't get in.
Right.
All right, how about the cleanup? How about the cleanup at the entryway with some of that cement work there?
Yeah, we can do some.
Okay, smooth out those. All right.
Babysitting.
That was another question I had about the babysitting. I think I emailed out about that if we're not going wicked long, do we need it? But you certainly can reach out to, and the fact that we're starting early and not going as long might help out, because you recall, Don, sometimes they had difficulty staying till the end of the meeting.
Kids.
And if we're targeting that, I think we'll be done well before 9, and could even be 8:30, so it's worth reaching out to the high school and see if I can get somebody. And I'm sure we've got, what did we do last time? We just used a classroom, but maybe even working with the library, they'd let them use one of their rooms or something for babysitting. Or if you've got some work to do here, just put them to work, Herb. Right. Some of the stuff you don't want to bend down to get done, right, yeah, good.
You,
But again, Brian, they're gonna reach out to high school and see if they actually have somebody available.
If you'd like me to, sure. Sure.
Thank you. What else,
and the
Tom?
green sheets are going out when?
Maybe the question for
Right, sure.
advisory, sounds, all
Left. I believe they're going to be done the end of this week.
right. So typically in the past, I did it and Bob Markle did it. And last year, I think Brian did it. He would add his little explanation to and try and get it in before the green sheets went out to print. And if we could coordinate that with advisory, I think it'd be very helpful. I mean, obviously, some of them, heck, some of the explanations stay the same from year to year,
Yeah, I started to go.
Yeah, so.
I started to go through it before the meeting tonight, and a lot of them are little tweaks to the language.
All right, but some are repetitious, right? All right, so is that something you can coordinate with, Dean about?
Yeah, I can ask about it. I think I think last year it was a separate document that we put out for the annual and the special, so I can see what they want to do.
Mhm. Well, mailing out the green sheets, correct me if I'm wrong, Don. I'm not,
No, but they insert them in the time.
but I mean, I'm not sure it's something that's required. We do it because we do it.
I don't think it's required.
Right, so the fact, the format of it, us adding the explanation doesn't, there's not a certain format that has to go out. Oh my gosh, you can't put there. Of course you can. I'd like to even have took an extra day to get out. It's still plenty of time before town meeting. If they arrived and people say they got out to, if they're going in the Times, they typically want them Monday as an insert. Who would know? Becky, you would know because they do the scribe on.
Maybe Lauren could check with her.
I know she'll be here, so we can ask her when she's here.
She'll be here tonight.
Yeah, she got the appointment thing. Any other concerns for the town meeting? We had a question about a presentation during the town meeting. And the chief is here. And entertaining the board's thoughts about what you asked about. Now, town meeting, you're away.
I'm gonna be away for that conference. So I'm gonna have one of my sergeants who was involved in that incident as he's the supervisor of that shift that those officers were working, so I thought it was fitting that he attend and stand in for me for that. Since he's in charge of those officers, he would do that report.
Now, we did one of these, Don, was the last annual meeting or special town meeting where we had action up here. We had the fire department. Is this going to be a multi-department thing as well, or is it?
The only, I reached out to Mike from Action to involve the paramedic who was involved in that one call, but it's not going to be a life-saving award like you had in the special fall meeting. It's just an internal department combination. So it may involve that one member from Action. I'm waiting to hear back from Mike. I don't anticipate it would take very long. It's one-page document for him to
Yeah.
just have a moment for the officers and I give them,
Oh, I know. It's good to recognize people too, but again, you don't want it to get into all of a sudden the town meeting scheduled for 6:30 starts at 7:30 because we have 12 different things before the actual meeting starts. Heck, we used to have the Lions Club Citizen of the Year, the Garden Club gave a thing and
We used to have an invocation,
I'm okay with that. We can do that again.
went, and we have
Good idea
rotating,
to pray over the budget. Might be a good idea.
rotating clergy.
Like at the Memorial Day.
Yeah,
Sure.
yeah.
Yeah. Maybe have them all do it. Maybe it'll help them more, right? Yeah.
Get manna from heaven.
Okay, so
So we're gonna do that or not do that? The concern is we don't wanna make it a,
there's gotta be a standard,
you know,
right? Yeah, this is good. Finding a lost dog doesn't come. Life-saving, I think, is which it was last time.
it was last time, and
Right.
this, although this is not a life-saving award, it was something that directly affected patient outcome according to the paramedic, and I thought it was,
okay,
in the very least worthwhile internal department commendation. I think I had sent correspondence back in December about it. And I think you had suggested maybe saving it for meeting, and again, it's a minor thing, but I think it's worth recognition. And you did, I did attach a copy, correct? You should, I can get it to you if you'd like to read it first, and then we can.
I got it here.
It can certainly be something less formal than that, but
Mhm.
I thought it would be a appropriate thing.
Okay, well, let's put a pin in it. That does bring up a point that, if Rick were here, we'd talk about that as part of the logistics. And Don, is that something we want to schedule for a future meeting to have the moderator in as well to make sure that we're
At least run it by him, see if he
Right.
wants to do it,
right?
because he runs the meeting.
Okay, we'll put a pin in that. We're gonna bring the moderator in because it's his meeting. So. Okay. All right, what else? Herb? This is all the chairs you have?
We'll set.
This is one of those town meetings where it's tough to prognosticate how many are gonna come. We don't have any real there's no real hot button warrant article.
How many chairs?
I think the normal 200, which is what you have, right? Ballpark, yeah. But I can't really say how many will come down. I mean, there's no hot button warrant article, but there might be a concern about the budget. Per se.
Yeah.
Right. What else for the town meeting?
You bringing cookies?
I think there's enough time with those stoves you have in the back room that the staff here could probably get them cooked, baked up.
Maybe.
They all work, right? They don't? Did you disconnect the gas to all of them or what?
I don't know.
Really? Those 5 back there, are they half gas, half electric, or how many are in that room back there?
Oh,
That room, yeah, I'm talking about that one.
Yeah, they were.
There we go. You got 3 weeks, Brian. I think you'd be able to knock out a few dozen.
Maybe. Could be stale by the time.
Oh, you're looking behind you, Lauren. Who's back there? Okay. Who, me, sir? Okay. Mhm. All right. Other than that, though, I think maybe a further review with the moderator, the town clerk, to make sure we're all on the same page, what's happening here. Chief, I assume you would do the normal thing. You have somebody here as well.
If we have somebody scheduled.
I don't know. And we talked before, about the counting thing. But like I say, nothing is jumping out on the warrant that's going to really predicate that. Certainly. I have nothing about a secret ballot or anything like that. So this is in one for prior years on. This is, I think, one of the
This is a quiet, gonna be a quiet
It'll
town.
be a quiet town meeting. Let's wait for the fall, the second town meeting. All right, so anything else to bring up about the town meeting, Brian?
I don't think
Okay,
so.
and Rose will still be coming to this one, right?
Correct.
Which dovetailed right into town council. Brian, you've,
Segue.
I think you.
Really a standard request for qualifications that I found many municipalities use to solicit responses from prospective town councils. I went through and I made sure I changed the town name appropriately because I know Don will find them if I didn't. So hopefully, yeah, hopefully I got them all. Microsoft's got them all.
And you spelled Hammond, right? That's good.
Yeah, took out the P in
I
Hampden.
suppose, who was it, Don? Who came, what, a year or so, Hampton, every, was it Time Bond?
Time Bond.
Okay. Is this enough time? I mean, obviously we want to get it done before, but I would think,
I think, yeah, it's gonna be about 3 weeks, 4 weeks, 3.5 weeks. I know Rose is trying to sort of phase out sooner rather than later, so I don't want to prolong, so.
Yeah.
Prolong the process.
well, the good thing is we have nothing ongoing that would require them to stay on.
We don't have any cases.
No, and I think I heard that there's a good chance the assessors are gonna try and wrap up their thing.
Yeah, there's just the ATB case right now
Yeah,
currently.
right. Okay. How do you feel about this? RFQ look good?
Looking good. Okay, I'll move approval. For this. They rate themselves, is this their own rating?
Oh, on the book.
Yeah. The municipal experience, rate experience, yeah,
Yep.
okay.
Okay, motion to authorize the town administrator to issue the RFQ.
So moved.
Second, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Issue that, all right.
Okay,
No.
vote and award diesel bid.
It goes over here. Now, what's next?
We have the bids for the, which typically I thought come through, VPA. Right.
The contract may sound out,
So that is a stunning number from Global. Brian.
Yeah.
Like, they didn't even want the thing. I mean, look how, see that, Don? One in the middle.
There's
I hate to say it, I hope these numbers are still good. In light of what's going on, but
why is it so much?
you got a different one? No, different, no, you got a different one. I got 3 columns on mine.
Sure.
You don't have Sprague.
Different package, one for gas, one for diesel.
Okay, so Sprague only bid on one. I've got diesel right here.
Let's say I'm on.
Yeah, it's, look at the same thing here. I mean, look at the global number compared, like, they don't even want the thing. I mean, they're triple the other numbers. Yeah, you're the gas one. I was telling you the diesel one, that's why.
Oh,
Okay, yeah, there's the gas.
where did the gas one? Look at,
I know, yeah. It's like they don't want the order,
okay,
which
let me
I
ask
will
you,
tell you, sometimes you send out requests for quotes to places you know are going to
yeah,
not come through. So,
sometimes, well, plus sometimes they just don't want it, so they'll bid to
Right.
stay in the.
and Burke is the
Okay.
local place.
Let me ask you a question though. Mr. Town Administrator. Paying attention?
Yes,
Okay. It says here, margin and overhead per gallon. 7 cents, right? So that's the, whatever the going price of gasoline is, plus 7 cents,
are you on gas or diesel? Diesel?
diesel.
Yep. Which, which one, which is up in the upper left? So that's trailer transport. Okay, I'm with you now. There's different delivery types. There's metered pump truck.
Okay.
I'm with you now. Trailer
Goes back to
transport.
my, which goes back to my
Yeah.
question. If it's $3.50 a gallon at the pump, and he says the margin overhead is 8 cents, that's $3.50 plus 8 cents?
Yep.
Okay, and we don't know it, and so so how do we decide whether it's a good contract or not? I guess we just go by the margin, right?
Basically, the lower.
By the margin,
Right.
because the bids were based on a spot price,
Okay.
a market price.
We're actually seeing a little more detail than we typically do. Usually Lower Pioneer Valley,
Just because of the price.
right, and they've gone through all the due diligence part of it, and we agree with it.
Right, so these contracts give us two options. One is the essentially the spot market price plus the markup.
Right.
The other one is we do have the right to do a fixed price option at some point in the contract. That's not recommended right now due to the volatility of the
Why wouldn't it be?
fuel market.
Seem like the fixed thing would be the right thing to do, because, you know, it's gonna go up and they're stuck at that price.
Well, yeah,
They think it's gonna go down?
I have no idea what it's gonna do. I know it's really high right now.
Yes, it is.
So this contract would allow us.
A fixed mortgage, or you want a, you know,
Variable.
right.
Why would they say you shouldn't get it fixed now?
They're talking you know how it goes up quick and it takes forever to drop back down,
Right.
even when refineries have to come back online, the whole thing. I've got a flight scheduled for May, and I'm wondering if the airline's gonna still be flying.
You're not taking the selectmen's plan?
We're on camera, Don, please. I thought Eric had that. Where's he? Oh, he's got the selectman boat.
You got the boat, you got the selectmen's boat yacht.
So this contract says that the customer may lock on a fixed price anytime between January 1st, 2026 and October 31st, 2026 for the current in contract fiscal year FY 27. So the low bidder here is Dennis K. Burke for gasoline and diesel. And when we sign this agreement, we can either stay with, I'm reading up. We can stay with option one, which is the daily New Haven low spot market price. Plus the overhead.
Yeah.
Or between January first, 2026, and February 1st, 2026, you can lock in at a
Okay, so let's say it's $4 a gallon now. They're gonna charge us $4.08 a gallon, right? And May 1st or June 1st, it's at $3.50 a gallon. We can go get the fixed price then?
on the day that the customer informs the vendor to lock on a future price.
Locked on future price?
Yep. Fixed futures price program is defined as a settled price for heating oil on the NYMEX. That's listed in the Wall Street Journal futures price for January of 2027. On
That's,
the day that the customer informs the vendor to lock on the futures price.
that's the futures price.
Yep,
Not the actual price, it's the futures
it's
price.
the futures price.
So if oil futures are down, we could lock in at the lower rate.
Mhm.
If they go further down, we can't go any further down.
But so this is their, I don't say their profit per gallon on top of the bulk price.
Right.
Right. Now, the other thing is that first,
And what do they suggest to do?
funny, you mentioned a price there, but of course, we don't pay the tax.
We don't.
So our bulk price is a lot less than what everyone else is paying at the
Right,
pump.
right.
So no different
No,
than,
we don't pay.
we're probably even coming up less than the pump price, even with the 38 cents
Oh, yeah.
per gallon. We're probably still, you know,
Right.
federal and state.
We don't pay federal state tax, right?
I don't believe so.
Right, so that 38 cents is well offset by what we're saving. Yeah,
And then we can lock in the, we gotta. So like every day you gotta get on there and look at the futures market.
like you do every morning, Don.
Somebody could do that.
All right, entertain a motion to, so pass on the option part right now, but entertain a motion to award the bids to, I don't know. Do we have to award the bids? We're just acknowledging what Lower Pioneer Valley does, right?
No, we have to, it's the
We
contract.
agree with theirs, basically.
They do the procurement for us. We have to do the contract.
All right, I'll entertain a motion to do the contract with Burke for both diesel and gas. And
Second,
then,
Yeah.
charge the administrator with reviewing the options.
second. I so moved. I mean.
Second. All in favor?
No.
Third?
Discussion. I got another question, but flipped my little mind.
Uh-huh. Okay,
It was about, oh, no, it was about the Lower Pioneer Valley. This is how many towns are involved in this? Good.
we can tell here, they've even got, the Hampshire and Franklin broken out separately.
Oh,
You saw that?
oh,
I'm not sure.
Different prices depending where you are.
yeah. Oh, I see. Oh, yeah, Franklin, Hampshire.
Yeah,
Right.
right, so ours has the lowest number because we're closest to the distribution point.
Distribution.
Yeah,
Right.
I think they may have taken on towns when.
Oh, yeah, Hampden, here it is. Right,
When it went.
Hampden. Absolutely.
It's
Yeah.
more apparent on the diesel one where they're broken.
Yeah,
Franklin's worse. Yeah, their margin is much higher.
yeah, well, they got
Right,
a distance between
Right,
all the towns.
Yeah.
All right, we're gonna vote now.
Thank you,
Okay.
Mr. Davenport. All in favor
Aye,
by name?
Donald, yes, aye.
I
Marjorie,
don't know what Eric's missing.
this is
Town hall updates.
very complicated,
How's it going, Herb?
very complicated.
Or an old town hall or a town hall?
Well,
Both, give it short and sweet.
So the old town,
It's underwater.
the old town hall,
It's,
we have no leak in there. I'm not sure where it's coming from.
What kind of leak?
You don't know, shut off.
It's water.
Water, it's water.
Oh,
We didn't like strike oil there or anything. We didn't find oil underneath.
Yeah.
No? Okay,
So on the bottom, on the bottom floor, the puddle in the wall, we vacuumed it off when the function. It's weird where it's coming from, so we did go down and look at it again today, with 2 eyes on it. It's coming through the concrete wall, but not 100% where it goes, because you have 2 pipes that being bored into the wall, and then goes upstairs. So anyways, just to make it short and sweet, I shut the domestic water off to the building. It stops the leak, then it's coming out of domestic water. Now the furnaces have been shut down. So we're not sure if it's still leaking, it's coming back from the furnaces. So leaking its way back as gravity comes downhill. So it's not burstable, so it might be draining pipes that are bored through the wall, the galvanized pipe, that I'm heating pipe. That's where it seems to be leaking, bottom of the basement. So, did shut the water off today, see if it's still containing water, if it doesn't stop the water, stop from leaking, then we know it's not.
right.
The other thing I just want to talk to you guys about, get your blessings. So I got a quote to remove the AC units out of it. And I just want to make sure that we're clear that we can go forward with that project. A lot of work will be done in-house. I do have someone that will recover the gases, and remove the wiring and remove all of the piping. We'll do it in-house, take the units out of there and bring it.
So you have somebody else then for that part now? You don't need,
Well, I have a quote, I'm not sure, I gotta find out what we, who wants to recover the gas.
I can do the Freon recovery for you. And then if you got somebody else that disassemble and whatever, that's fine.
Right, so, they get a price to have disassembled,
All right.
take them back here, use them in this building. So a lot of them go into the backside, we got a couple offices.
So what's over there, 4 or 5? Or,
So right now you have 4 outside units, you have 8 units. So one's on the roadside, going up to Green Meadows, there's 3 heads each, on every compressor. Oh, sorry, 4 heads on every compressor. Okay,
you could do all the park at that point, yeah.
exactly.
Right.
And then we have on your side where Brian's office was, it's 2 heads. The other one has 1 head. So they could be of value. So I just need with the, committee working on it and stuff like that. I just don't want to remove it. Getting your blessing to do that.
What type of money are you looking for?
2,500.
For all of them?
The gas is recovered.
Pretty good price to move all the,
You're out there gonna do the Freon, you said?
we have all the recovery systems. Wait, that's 134, right? It's probably 134?
Yes.
Yeah, okay, yeah.
So anyways, that's that. So I just need you guys' blessing to do that. We'll be out of there. We'll get into that. Take care of that. And the other thing is generator. So there's been talk about removing a generator out of here. So I've been working with Matt Loveling and Rick from generator.
Is he working Kinsley or is he at Kinsley or?
Yes.
Yeah, okay.
So he's on his own now. He's not working for the company. He wants to. So he's involved in this as well. I've asked him to get back and to get me prices. I'd like to do it. We're going to do this at a state. It is going to be a significant amount of money do this, how they're set up. So one at the town hall is 60 kWs, and one here is 80 kW.
Is it 80?
Yes. But
The
that
one-
doesn't mean one's running on gas and one's running on diesel. Okay, so one at the town hall is running on diesel. The one here is running on gas.
So the one that's in the boiler room is 80 kW
Yes,
inside?
so the only thing is, my concern is, and even working for the school with Bigelow Electric, has made it very clear. One we have here is no longer making parts for that machine,
Mhm.
that generator. So the difference is this, the 60 kW will carry everything in its. They've already
Mhm.
showed me that. And the 80 kW can't get parts for it. It's, so the difference is, one at town hall's only 18 years old. One here is 49 years.
Back when we were doing the hazard mitigation plan originally, and we looked at this place being potentially a shelter, they told me that the generator here was sized enough so it would keep the lights on enough until the buses got here and the kids could get out. It was never meant to be big enough to operate the building.
I even this, I think. So my concern is this. The setup that you have here has never operated the entire building, all the lights.
Mhm,
And so you get different switches in that room. So
mhm.
what happens is the ones here, you'd have to literally go in there. Turn on all the disconnects, so it's hooked up to the kitchen, it's hooked up to the wood, it's hooked up to the fire pans. So you have to, and I'll be honest with you, I've been in this building for probably 14, 13 years. And I've never, ever even knew that you had to go and kick them on. So you have lights that come on in the hallways. And it does some lighting. Well, and then you have 20 seconds after the power goes out to kick it down,
Mhm.
put it back onto the original generator.
So it's not an automatic transfer at all.
Right.
All
So
manual.
this
Okay.
is what I'm saying here is, even with the 60, this would be automatic transfer.
Mhm.
You wouldn't have to do that. So what you have out there now is not really utilized at all.
Okay. What type of money are you talking about to make the wiring change, the first out transport and wiring?
It's gonna cost some money, and it's gonna cost some money. We're talking, I don't have a total price yet. So what I'm saying is, I like to do this in stages. What you have out there now is nothing wrong. Everything's running good, everything's doing this, doing what it's supposed to be doing. And not putting down on the burger, I would like to get a price, get everything here.
Mhm.
And then we've talked about this, me, Matt, the generator guy. Then we go into stage 2.
Mhm.
So stage 1 would be get it here, fence it.
Yep.
It has to be an outside. Put it on a. Stage two would be hook it up to the switch that's there. Okay? And then stage 3 would be take everything out of that, all those switches that are in there, and then put the original switch, that single switch in there,
Mhm.
switch over everything.
But again, it is an older generator. Don, what was the number for the fire department one? Was it 40 to 50 roughly?
$40,000.
Right, for a new one, right? And then some hookup costs.
Like 20-something thousand to hook it up
And why you hook it up. So
in 10 years.
if we're really, you couldn't let it go?
I couldn't.
If we were to, now you like say, okay, well, it's gonna cost me 30,000 to move it, hook it up. At that point, we're looking at a, like you said, 15, 18-year-old generator. Is it better to buy new? But if you're saying, well, to hook everything up, we're gonna talk, move it, hook it up, it's 12 to 15,000.
At that capacity,
Yeah,
Oh, yeah.
probably wouldn't.
I understand that. So that's what I'm trying to get a sense of. If you're saying to move it and hook it up, you're gonna need $10,000-12,000, then it makes sense. Yeah, pay the money, you still got a decent generator. Right. But you don't even have like a ballpark at this point?
No, they're actually looking at it. Matter of fact, we did a tour the other day, on Friday. And the map and some numbers together, to get it unhooked there,
Mhm.
take everything out of there. And get it here.
All right. So there's a potential that there might be money that was earmarked for another project that could be repurposed towards this. Because you did quite a bit of a savings on the HVAC number
For what?
here.
The generator.
It's on, Jeff, how long did we move that money?
No, I'm saying if we vote to repurpose that money, there's money that's not going to be utilized for our HVAC. Okay. All right. All right. So other update for here. What else are you just doing? Where are we with the hallway project?
So the hallway project starts on the 29th. This hallway here will close down.
Mhm.
We did send an email out to all the staff members knowing that, letting them know that they won't be able to use this hallway until the 7th. That they're gonna have to work around that. But we're now putting doors in. People can get around.
All right. Is there entry into the health department through the other entryway, right?
Yeah.
So what are,
This way,
yes.
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 So it's only gonna affect this hall.
Mhm.
To set up the, unit
Right.
probably down here.
Okay.
It's not-
Well, are we guaranteed to have it done by the 7th? And the reason I say that, because the town meeting is the 11th, and if there's some kind of delay for,
I can guarantee you it's done by the 7th.
okay,
I even talked to a guy that leaves for weekends.
yeah, because we need to.
Yeah.
For the 11th.
Okay. All right.
That's.
And then also the proposal from AEG for the HVAC,
Mhm.
Was that right?
the proposal from AEG to do the HVAC work, HVAC work.
Right. So it's not on the agenda per se to vote that. I mean, do we have until next week to do it? So is the bid, is the number good until next week?
Yeah, it'll delay the project by a week, but
Well, I worry that we're awarding a $200,000 bid and it's not on the agenda.
okay.
Only 200 grand.
That's 200. Yeah.
We can add that to next week, huh?
Okay.
Right? That's not a problem.
Okay. Next on the agenda is the Council on Aging board member. Hey, Becky. Good. We wanted to pick your brain. Yes, one thing we were talking before about sending out the green sheet. And when do you have to get the scribe to the Times for insertion?
So.
Is it Monday, Friday? Really?
Yep. So like if we'll send the scribe over this week.
To run the following week?
Thursday at noon, and it will be in the following week's paper, so not the following paper.
So if they want the green sheet before town meeting on the 11th, they'd want it in on the 7th at the latest, or the 30th. They'd have to have it to them by the Thursday of this week. You buzzing in? Yeah, okay. Huh, well, that'll be a question for advisory, I guess. All right. Thank you for your knowledge. And the floor is open, Senator.
What is here, Kathleen Allen, who is a prospective new member interested in being appointed to the seal.
There we go.
So I leave it to the board chair.
Good.
The board members have, and she and very thorough background in services.
Mhm.
We live to it. I would like to.
Okay, so I will also attend that meeting virtually, and I think the board was unanimous in recommending Kathleen you're from Tall Pines, right?
I am,
Great. So, I think she, background is right in line with what we're looking for. I would certainly entertain a motion of the board to appoint Kathleen to the, COA board. For Becky, do you have a sense of the terms right now on the board? Yes or no? You can't comment at this time. All right, fine.
It's not a filling the vacancy.
No,
It's 2-year term. Technically. Most people. We
then we don't know.
don't know limit. There's no
Okay.
term limit, but then.
Oh. Oh, we all have a term limit. Okay. All right, so moved. You have a term.
No,
You know what I'm saying?
oh, yeah, I know.
I know. Second, all those in favor?
Aye.
Appointed to a 3-year term, beginning now until
3 years.
3 years from now. Okay. So you still have an under 60 opening?
Yes.
Okay. And you're beating the bushes looking for somebody,
We
are you? Great, great.
Bunch of,
All right. Well, thank you for coming in. All right. We have, oh gosh, Dan, we're almost right on time for you. Dan? We're right on time for you.
Easy. A couple of quick policies for you. Very simple.
I have a question. How many policies do we have?
Or 50 to 200, it's
That's what I thought.
a lot.
Yeah, right.
It's broken into 4 sections.
Right, and I recall Chief Farnsworth coming in with some revisions as things change, and then Scotty would come in as well with some, and I'm sure you take them home at night and look them over for an opportunity to update them. I thought so. So there's the first 2 out of 150. All right. Tell us about these.
One of them is the debate on the changing law, and the second one is a new policy. Based on adopting a mental health clinician.
Okay.
The first one that I think is the administration policy 146. But reporting abuse, excessive force, this to get us more in line with current mass general law. There was an update to what's called duty to intervene.
Mhm.
So that was right into heading on this policy. It was not very.
Right.
It existed in the policy in a smaller form. It
Mhm.
wasn't in the heading. I also had to add in the presentation standard that it meets. So that's in the upper left-hand part.
Mhm.
So duty to intervene, that's something that came out relatively recently in the law enforcement over the last few years. So we just needed to update the policy to get in line with that. And again, it was already spoken to briefly in the policy.
Right.
I just wanted to get it more up to speed with the latest legal updates that we had gotten from the police training council.
Okay.
Just
Right.
updating the existing policy.
So a motion to approve the 2 new policies, the chief has brought forward, sorry, the revision to a policy and the new policy chief has brought forward.
before I second that,
Really?
is 35 words or 50 words or less, because I know you.
All right, we're pushed on time. Of course, pushed on time, make it 35.
Okay, 35 words or less. Why don't you just quickly tell folks what the mental health policy is about? What clinician policy?
It's 2. So we took out a co-responsible clinician with a grant from CHD. So that's shared between Wilbraham and the police departments.
Mhm.
So that clinician is now working 5 days a week in the 2 towns.
Hmm.
She's in Wilbraham 4 days a week, in Hampden 1 day a week. Just to assist us with responses to people in mental health crisis. So, and that can also go into some substance abuse as well, if it's related to mental health. She's actually available all 5 days a week. She has a radio, she has a a vest that she can wear. She's able to respond to calls with the officers if need be, or to do follow-up. So pretty valuable to us in the follow-up piece.
Okay.
So we needed a policy that we could cover.
And she's paid through the grant.
She is paid by CHD and she's essentially on loan as a co-response and it's through a grant. And overhead been turned on.
Yeah, move approval.
Second, all those in favor?
Aye.
Quickly is running out of time. The three of you, Mark, yeah, where are we with the flag at the old town hall, which was mentioned online? Somebody mentioned that the flag was in bad shape. Doesn't the police department, you used to be tasked with checking out the flags? The police department.
Orders from the city, we put the flags up and down.
No, I'm sorry. No, condition, flag condition.
Oh, condition.
Yeah.
I did.
You saw that online. Somebody mentioned they felt he was in bad shape.
I look pretty good.
No?
We'll take a look. I haven't.
Yeah, take a look. Somebody was mentioning that it was in bad shape. I'm like, okay. Right. And quickly, while you're here, Mark, where do we stand with the loader?
The price. That makes that. Being, of course, that does not
Wow.
allow that.
Mhm.
Where,
Mhm.
so I'm gonna present that.
Okay. Okay.
I just contact the state aid engineers.
All right. Typically with chapter 90, do we have to front it and apply for reimbursement? Right? Okay. Check with Dick and make sure we got money. If not, the assessors have it. Right? You have money, right? You have plenty of money in your department, right, Phil? Funds, thank you. All right. Is there anything from, we have 7 minutes,
Yes, I have two requests for a permit to operate a one-day food service establishment, Honey Bear Tea and Biscotti. Would like to do that on someday, April 25th, 2 p.m., 11 to 2 p.m.
is that part of the
That's at
library's?
Every day library
Yeah,
thing.
okay. Motion to approve?
Second, all in favor?
Aye.
Okay, and I have a similar request from somebody, from the Daily Bread Baking Company for the same date, and it's also for the same event, the Earth Day Expo event.
Motion to approve?
Second, all in favor?
Aye.
Okay,
Brian?
Just one quick thing. I will be meeting, myself and conservation agent Josino will be meeting with Opakam Land Trust. You recall, this goes back many years that they're trying to acquire property on Chapin Road.
Isn't that the one where they had a second property that was going to like a butt up next to it?
Yeah, as part of a fourth legacy grant.
Yeah.
I'm told that's your final stages review with the state. So we're gonna have a coordination. Likely within the next 3 months, I think the grant deadline requires Opakam to take title within the next 3 months, so it'll likely move pretty quick, but we're gonna have a coordination meeting on Thursday.
are we gonna, we have to motion to adjourn or? No, 'cause
I think I'll take a motion to adjourn when the advisory adjourns their meeting. Why don't we do that? Okay, yeah. All right, so the next thing on our agenda is we are going to attend the advisory committee meeting, which is the public hearing on the 2026 annual town meeting warrant. We are not going to adjourn. We're going to have a motion to have an adjournment when the advisory adjourns their meeting. So we still will be in session. We'll be answering questions if they have them of us. We'll sit in the front row, the back row, wherever they tell us to sit, and we're fine with that. So I'll entertain a motion to schedule an adjournment when the advisory adjourns.
So we'll,
Second, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye. It has cleaned up.
All right. Good evening, everybody. Could we, if everybody could sit down, please, we would like to get started. Mike, okay. Yes. All right. My name is Doug Boyd. I'm the co-chair of the advisory committee. This is the public hearing, which we are required to have of the warrant, which is coming up for town meeting on May 11th. If anybody needs copies of the documents, they're up front here on the table. A couple of things before we get into the warrant itself. Let me first off explain to people who are not familiar with this process that we have to assemble a budget for presentation to town meeting in an environment where the state has not passed its budget, so we don't know what we're going to receive. The schools have submitted a request, and yet they have not, their budget has not been established by the state either. So there's a bit of a Ouija board that goes on here as we try to figure out what the revenues are going to look like. What we do know is that we have the 2.5% levy. It's based upon the valuation of the town's property. The levy, the 2.5% levy is $400,122. That's how much Proposition 2.5 will allow us to increase the taxes without an override. In addition, we are estimating that there will be new growth of $150,000. New growth is any new properties or improvements to existing properties which increase the assessed values of the property. We're using 150,000. That's the average of the last 3 years. In addition, we have what's known as an excess levy capacity. That is money that would have been levied in previous years within the 2.5% limit that we as a town chose not to. It's an excess levy capacity. That number is currently $424,335. If you add all three of those up, you come up with $974,000 in change. That's the taxing capacity that the town has without going to an override. Let's now look over onto the request side for the money side of it. The requests from all the town departments, including the school department, it's an increase of $819,976. And actually, that number is going to be a little bit different because we just had a correction of a couple of lines here. But to give you a sense of what we're looking at here. So we have a taxing capacity of 974,000. We have a request to increase the expenses of $819,000. If we were to use all of that taxing capacity next year, we would be limited to the 2.5% plus any new growth because we would have exhausted the excess capacity figure. So let this serve as an early warning for everyone that we'll get through this year. Next year is going to be a challenge. If the trajectories hold true, and there's no reason to think they won't, the revenues will continue to increase very modestly. Expenses are increasing much more quickly. Two lines are intersecting at a point where we'll either have to reduce services or we'll have to pass an override next year. With that, let me just address a couple of the procedural things. There's been some discussion about why this public hearing is happening on a school vacation week. we have to get our green sheets, and everyone, if you're not familiar with your green sheets, you will be soon. These have been published by the advisory committee for years. And it's the recommendations that the advisory committee makes on all the articles which are coming before town meeting. We have to vote after tonight's meeting. We, the advisory committee, have to actually vote our recommendations on all of the articles. We have to revise all of the documents. We have to get them submitted to the printer. They have to be printed, brought back to Turley Publications for distribution. Turley's now using the Republican for printing their paper. When we back up from town meeting of May 11th, this is when we have to have our town meeting in order to accomplish all of those steps and to actually get the green sheet produced and out to people in time for town meeting. Secondly, in the era of social media, everybody has the opportunity to weigh in on the various social media sites. Advisory committee doesn't have a social media site. As long as I'm involved with it, we won't. It's no way to do governance is for members to weigh in individually on a social media site without the input of their board. I would suggest that for any of us to weigh in on any issues on any social media sites would be inappropriate because we don't have the authority. We're members, we're individual members of a committee. So that's why you haven't seen any postings from anybody on this committee, and I suspect going forward, you won't either. Before we get into the actual warrant, does anybody have any questions about what I've just discussed? Yes.
So you said this 815, does that work out to about a 5% increase? If you, for something was 2.5, basically going at 8 something.
5% increase of what?
You gave us two numbers, 400,000 levy.
Yep.
And then another 424,000. Add those two together.
Yeah.
One's 2.5 and the other one's close to 2.5. So that's about a 5%.
Well, you're talking about an increase on your tax bill?
Yes.
Yeah, you can't correlate the increase on the tax directly to an increase on your tax bill. And the reason is that in the fall, we have another town meeting where we actually make a decision as a town. There's recommendation as a town meeting vote on how to handle any what's called free cash. School departments call it excess and deficiency. Towns call it free cash. It's the same difference. It's excess revenue. In the fall, we make a determination on what to do with that free cash. And we often will apply some of that free cash to reduce the tax rate. So we may increase spending by 4.5 or 5%, but in the fall, we may be able to apply some free cash in a way to reduce the increase on the taxes. Does that make sense, Dick?
Last year, every $140,000 was about 1% on the tax rate. The reason the math doesn't quite work is the 400 that you were referring to isn't on the tax rate, it's on the levy limit, which is a higher number. So figure every $140,000 you spend is 1% tax. Pretty close.
Anything further before we start? All right, looking at the warrant, we have Article 1, which is the town reports. If anybody has any comments as we're going through these, please speak up. And you'll notice that this is going to be handled by way of a consent agenda, which we started doing last year. The moderator started doing last year. Article 2 are the spending limits for the revolving funds. Article 3 is the library additional state aid. Article 4 is the assessors funding for state mandated programs. Actually, are we gonna be able to do that as a consent agenda? That has a dollar figure in it,
We did it last year.
really, and it worked last year. Article 5, report of the Old Town House Committee. Article 6 is Chapter 90, State Highway Aid. The reason those get put into a consent agenda is that they tend to be, standard articles which have to be passed as a matter of procedural appropriations and authorities, but there's really not an issue with any of them. Article 7 is the annual operating budget. This, what you have in front of you, is a spreadsheet that shows expended funds from FY 2025, appropriated funds for the current year, and requested funds for next year, FY 27. What I'm going to do is I'm going to go through each of these lines, and I will be reading each of the dollar figures that's been requested. Because I will be looking down. If anybody has any comments, please just speak up and we'll deal with the question as we're going through. So 1.1 is salary, $42,026 for the accountant. 1.2 is the assistant, $13,275. 1.3 expenses, $10,000. 1.4 software, $7,000. Total accountant, $72,301. 2.0 is the advisory committee, clerical, 2.1, $6,151. Expenses, $200. Total advisory, $6,351. 3.0 is the Board of Appeals, clerical, $9,580. 3.2 expenses, $300. Total appeals, $9,880. 4.0, the Board of Assessors, salaries, 4.1, $20,295. 4.2, Principal Assessor, $86,568. 4.2, clerical, $29,005. 4.3, expenses, $4,500. 4.5, software support, $17,308. 4.6, mapping maintenance, $2,500. 4.7, utility valuations, $8,000. Total assessors requested, $168,177. 5 points, yes, question.
I noticed salaries have gone down for hours. And it generally have, formula that can be used for salaries, would you explain some of it?
The, both of those positions have new people in them. Because they are new people, they came in at a lower level on the salary steps bands.
And for existing salaries, what's the formula that you're using?
Where we requested that departments use a 2.5% increase for non-bargained, any bargained employees, it's whatever the contract is requesting. 5.0 building expenses, building department expenses. 5.1 code and general enforcement, $26,407. 5.2 inspector, $79,222. 5.3 clerical, $37,607. 5.4 inspector's expense, $3,500. Office expense, $1,860. Total building department request, $148,596. 6.0 county retirement. Total requested $958,044.
That's the amount that
I believe this is the discounted amount. No, I'm sorry. This is the assessed amount. What Don is referring to is that the Hampden County Retirement sends us an assessment letter. And if we pay it before a certain date, they give us a discount. Just the first 6 months, right? That first half year.
Yeah, the assessment is 2 payments, one July 1st and January 1st. You pay the whole thing by July 30th, you can pick up about 4%. It works about, saves money, 10,000 if we have the cash in July.
Right. And it's something that we've done every year for the past several years because it is a significant amount of money. I'm sorry, there was a question over here.
We saw a year-over-year 20% increase in 25 and 26 for funding on that, which was about $100,000. Can you explain why there's an additional $30,000 in it being out of that for the following year?
I'm sorry, which line are you looking at? Well, how much time do you have? County retirement, to say it's a request is a misnomer. It's a demand that we receive from the Hampden County Retirement Board. This is the amount of money that we have to pay. This is based on a formula. As of October 1st of the previous year, whatever our payroll is, that's the snapshot is taken as of October 1st. And it's now, is it 36%, Dick? Is that what the assessed amount is? 37. So the county assessment is 37% of payroll. So for every $100, we have to contribute 37 into the retirement account. This full-time, well, regular employees that are considered full-time, which by law is considered 20 hours or more of regular employment. Doc?
8%.
Well, that's why I asked how much time you have. Don said plus the 8%. Hampden County Retirement is grossly underfunded. They've overpromised and underfunded for years. And the legislature several years ago passed a law requiring the retirement and the several retirement funds around the state to start bringing them up to more closely so that the funding more closely reflects the expenses that they're going to be paying, the retiree benefits. So there's an 8% surcharge included in that county retirement assessment to make up for that previous years of underfunding. All right, anybody? I know it's going to be going a lot inside baseball here, but anybody have any questions on that? All right, moving on. 7.0 insurance. 7.1 property and liability. 247,520. 7.2 employee benefits. 899,713. Let me just stop here to say we put employee health insurance under employee benefits. That's where, disability, dental, health insurance, life, all those things go under employee benefits. The health insurance, the town's a member of the Scantic Valley Regional Trust, which is it's a health insurance trust that's been in existence for quite a few years now. That does a very good job, frankly, managing the insurance for the town. Well, they voted an 11% increase this year. They actually, Dick Patula, I'm pointing over here because Dick is the town treasurer. I actually asked Dick to get the health insurance figures because it is a big bump and it's a big number. The town pays 75% of the health insurance for employees. And with this increase, somebody who's receiving Blue Cross on a family plan, the town's contribution is going to go up to $24,021 a year for a family plan. under Blue Cross. The employee's share of that would be $8,007. That's for a family plan. So, I mean, it's a big number. And, you know, the last few years, it actually has held level. So for this year, to see the 11%, it's kind of an unfortunate jump, but it is what it is. Any questions before we move off of that? Yes.
I have a question for this statement for the group, but some of this when it comes to the term in November.
Yeah, I would suggest that you keep all of this in mind when you vote. The 7.3 unemployment compensation, requesting $10,000, total insurance, $1,157,233. 8.0 law and claims, requested amount $50,000. 9.0 the moderator. Well, he didn't really request it, but we're carrying forward last year $100. 10.0 planning board, 10.2 clerical, $42,152. Expenses 10.3, $1,100. Total planning board $43,252. 11.0 registrar, board of registrars. 11.1 salaries, $979. 11.2 election expenses, $25,000. 11.3 street lists, $3,500. Total registrars, $29,479. So bumping that because there's going to be 2 elections this year that the registrars are going to have to run. 12.0 selectmen. 12.1 salaries, $12,156. 12.2 administrative assistant, $71,381. 12.4 expenses, $20,000. 12.5 legal advertising, $4,000. 12.6 mapping maintenance, $3,000. 12.7 temporary help, $15,000. 12.8 storm water management, $45,000. 12.9 town meeting support, $17,000. Total selectmen, $187,537. 13.0 tax collector, 13.1 salary, $49,726. 13.2 clerical, $35,830. 13.3 expenses, $3,500. 13.4 computer maintenance, $5,000. 13.5 tax title work, $2,500. Total tax collector, $96,556. 14.0 town clerk. Salary 14.1, $49,726. 14.2 clerical, $39,471. 14.3 records officer, $12,272. 14.3 expenses, $1,750. 14.4 town publications, $100. Total town clerk, $103,319. 15.0 the town reports, $4,000. 16.0 treasurer salary, $59,800. Clerical, $13,275. 16.3 expenses, $1,600. 16.4 certifying notes, $1,000. 16.6 tax title work, $11,000. 16.7 payroll service, $10,000. 16.10 records management, $2,000. Total treasurer, $98,675. 17.0 veterans benefits, $20,000. 19.0 town administrator, $148,625. Total general government, $3,302,125. 20.0 Academy Hall maintenance, $5,500. Cemetery commission, 21.1 clerical, 16,402. 21.2 expenses, $500. 21.3 maintenance, $32,500. 21.4 computer maintenance, $2,100. Total cemetery commission, $51,502. 22.0 the conservation commission, clerical 22.1, $45,497. 22.2 expenses, $1,543. Total conservation, $47,040. Transfer station, 23.0. 23.2 is monitoring, testing. You'll notice a big drop in that, $50,000. Total transfer station, $50,000. 24.0 school building repairs, nothing's requested. 26.0 library. 26.1 salaries, materials and books, $219,054. The total library. 27.0 town events, $3,500. 29.0 office equipment, acquisition, 29.1, $20,000. 29.2 maintenance, $5,000. 29.3 supplies, $12,500. 29.4 postage, $27,500. 29.5 information technology, $60,000. 29.6 website, $10,500. Total office equipment, $135,500. 30.0 Parks and Rec. Yes,
Maybe 20% year-over-year on our IT cost.
on 29.5. Or do we have something on that, Brian? I don't recall off the top of my head.
Although, so we have a contracted IT vendor, that's a combination of costs. There's cost of the IT vendor and also purchase of IT.
Are we doing anything to identify?
I think that's just.
Anything else, John?
I mean, the Windows operators have something, some computers need to be replaced a little ahead of time because they.
That's fine. Okay, Parks and Rec, 30.1 salaries, $82,238. 30.2 operating expenses, $17,500. 30.9 spray park, $15,000. 30.3 director, $54,440. Total Parks and Rec, $169,178. 32.0 townhouse maintenance. Keep in mind, we're now referring to this building. 32.1 custodial, $20,000. 32.2 maintenance and repairs, $35,000. Heat and utilities, $100,000. Well, there's always one. Facility 32.4 facilities manager, $79,970. Total townhouse maintenance, $234,970. 34.0, the ambulance, $349,182. 35.0 gasoline, 35.1 purchase, 55,000. 36.1 gasoline expenses, 10,500. Total gasoline, 65,500. 36.0 street lighting, $32,000. 37.1. There's a correction here. There's an error that was made. The director's salary, the numbers were transposed here. It should be $96,859. 37.2 general salary, $126,948. Yeah.
I have a different number on it, like the rest of the general salary.
What number is that, Becky?
12886.
128,586. Okay. Just so everybody's aware, so line item request general salary 37.2 is $128,586. Oh, I'm sorry, yes.
Sorry. Can you explain why the director's salary is double any salary? For the company, like the first director's salary.
Well, there was what we refer to as the Collins study. There's an institute at UMass called the Collins Institute. They were retained by the town. I don't know when was that, 6 or 7 years ago, maybe longer, to do a salary assessment within the town, and essentially do a comparison to surrounding communities. So we refer to it as the Collins report. And pretty much all of the positions in town fell into one of the spots on that Collins report. And so whenever there's a position which either a person is in or a person is being hired into, we refer to the Collins report for determining where they should be placed. So in the case of the director's salary for the Council on Aging, she's been in that position for 23 years. Well, obviously, she's on the higher end of the scales. Parks and Rec has been in that position for, was it 2 years? Yeah, 3 years? 2 years. So there's a discrepancy both in terms of the length of service as well as where they started in terms of where they were rated in terms of valuation on the salaries. Right. And that's something that we, as a town, we try to be competitive with surrounding communities. We don't want to lose people to surrounding communities, but we also don't want to overpay people. We want to be fair to the taxpayers. So what we refer to the Collins study, we're trying to balance both of those competing interests. Anything else before we continue? All right, so we're down. I'm not going to do the total numbers because they're changing. But expenses 37.3, 7,550, 37.4 senior ride service, $5,591. So obviously that total Council on Aging number will will be changed to reflect those revisions or corrections. 38.0, the senior center. 38.2, utilities, $26,000. 38.3, this number needs to be corrected. The number should be $18,250. That's 38.3. So obviously the total senior center number will also be different. Um, 39.0, the historical commission, $400. I'm not going to read the total general service figure because that obviously has changed. Highway department, 40.0, superintendent salary, $111,837. 40.1, departmental payroll, $314,372. 41.0, tree warden. 41.1, expenses, $53,450. 41.1.2, salary, $7,680. Total tree warden, $61,130. 42.0, public grounds. Total request, $4,385. 43.0, highway maintenance expenses, 43.0, total request, $65,672. 43.1, paving, $250,000. Total highway maintenance, $315,672. 44.0, general highway expense. Total request, $20,300. Snow and ice removal, $125,000. Let me just take a minute to do a quick explanation on this for people who are new to this. By state law, for reasons which have never made any sense to me, we cannot reduce that number. So once we as a town put a snow and ice number into the budget, we cannot reduce it. So over the past several years, we bumped that up. That used to be down at, was like $25,000 or $50,000. And what we've done is we've edged that up. And the reason that the number almost doesn't matter is that's one of the few line items that can be deficit spent with a vote of the select board. And the current deficit on the snow and ice is what is about 200 and a little over 200,000. That'll be picked up out of free cash. But that snow and ice is 125,000 simply to apply something towards what we know is going to be a big number. Find my place here. Contract services, 46.0. Street sweeping, 46.1, $22,800. 46.2, catch basin cleaning, $30,400. I believe Mark found a new contractor for that catch basin cleaning. I don't know if Mark is here or not, but is that what it was? Is that a new contractor?
This kind of combination of the new contractor, and then also this is an account that I've been watching a few years, and we're not using this sand for road treatments like we used to. So these basins don't have the sediment that they once had. So I thought it would be a good time to maybe shave, a fair amount off of that. Also be in a position where if we do have another company come in, that was able to cover all the costs.
I figure we didn't reduce the number of catch basins, so something had to change.
We never reduced.
Total contract services for highway, $53,200. 47.0, other highway accounts, 47.1, road machinery maintenance, $24,000. 48.0 building expenses, 48.1 expenses and utilities, $16,250. 49.0 radio lease agreement, $10,000. Total highway department, $1,056,146. Moving on to protection of persons and property, 50.0 animal inspection. Salary, 50.1, requested $3,021. 50.2 expenses, $1,200. 50.4 wildlife control, $2,500. Total animal inspection, $6,721. 51.0 emergency management, requested amount $6,200. 51.5 traffic control, requested amount $15,000. 52.0 the dog officer, 52.1 animal control, $15,365. Dog damage fund, 52.2. Amount requested $500. Total dog officer, $15,865. 53.0, the fire department. 53.1, fire chief salary, $34,375. 53.2, fire chief expenses, $1,500. 53.3, operation, $75,000. 53.4, equipment, $16,500. 53.5, training stipend, $32,000. I'm not going to read those other ones. Those are new account numbers that we're using, but fire officer stipend, $12,354. Call reimbursement, $65,000. Fire department salaries, $219,973. Clerical, $21,161. Uniforms, $6,464. 53.1 EMS supplies, $3,000. 53.11 training reimbursements, $2,500. Total fire department, $489,828. 54.0 forest fire control, $1,800. 56.0 the Board of Health. 56.1 shared health services. No request for that this year. That got moved, is that correct? The
Grant funded.
grant, okay, grant funded. 56.2 coordinator, $58,318. 56.3 expenses, $3,000. 56.4 health nurse, no request. Total Board of Health, $61,318. 56.5 the Water District. That number correct? 565.1. Is that the correct number? It's fine. Operations, $25,000. Testing, $4,000. Total Water District, $29,000. 57.0, the police. 57.1, salary, chief salary, $118,450. 57.2, general salaries, $1,224,028. 57.3, maintenance of the cruisers, $16,795. 57.4, general expenses, $98,935. 57.6, training, $50,000. 57.5, new cruiser, $70,000. Yes.
Can you explain to me that 25% year-over-year, And two, what are the for a new
I'm sorry, I missed that last part. Well, yeah, I think so. They take good care of it. The historically, the police department aimed at 100,000 miles on a cruiser. A couple of years ago, the request of a citizen, I don't know if she's here tonight, I haven't seen her, but there was a citizen's suggestion that we look at the mileage. And we looked at a bunch of things, and we made a recommendation that that number be increased to 125,000. The mileage on this cruiser, I don't remember off the top of my head. Does anybody remember what, I don't know, if it's the chief? Chief, do you remember what the mileage is on the cruiser you're replacing?
I have two of them, two of my frontline cruisers that are over 100,000 right now.
All right, so the one you're looking to replace is one of those?
Right.
So that answers your question on the cruiser. And the other one, sorry, the other one was on the train.
Sorry, but trading, are we going to be possible to get still? Not that already.
No, that is to cover, that line unfortunately has been underfunded to cover state and training, training for all of my officers. So annual in-service training that they were required to attend by the state, the number was lacking several years, so that we increased that just to cover managing training.
$16,000 increase on year-over-year.
That's the revolvers funds, looking for new guns.
Oh, 57.7, that's a request to replace fire. They're working, they are past the recommended service level and
just before we leave that training line, you may be familiar with the post commission. Post commission issued requirements that we have to meet, all of which costs more than it used to. So that's an increase on that training line, and I suspect that's a line that we won't see go down going forward. 57.8 is the career incentive pay, otherwise known as the Quinn bill, $130,158. 57.9, building maintenance, and is that expense? That what EXP is on there? Yeah. Expenses, $80,168. Total requested for the police, $1,810,534. 58.0, other police accounts, 58.1, election and town meetings, $4,244. 58.3, WMLEC, $375. Total other police accounts, $4,619. Total police request, $1,815,153. 59.0, police and fire communications, $31,679. 59.1, police fire dispatch services, $125,000. Total protection requests, $2,597,564. Yeah.
So the 30% increase on dispatch services, are we keeping on more dispatchers?
Well, let me ask you a question. How long have you been in town? No, okay, then you're familiar with the regionalization of our dispatch services. Dispatch is currently regionalized in Wilbraham. Prior to regionalization, we were paying just under $500,000 a year for our own dispatch for police and fire. By going into regionalization, there's a state grant which has defrayed much of that cost, but not entirely. This 125 is our share of the unfunded portion of that. And it is what it is.
The grant was for 5 years. First 3 years, the state paid $125,000 each year. The second, fourth year, excuse me, the first 3 years they paid $125,000. The fourth year, we have paid $63,000, 50% of that. The fifth year was $92,000. This year, we have to pay. Negotiating what we have right now, because there's no town that joined Belcher's. Over the course of the 5 years, it cost us $250 million, absolutely, $2.5 million, and we pay, $250.
Anything further on the, before we move on? No. So the total protection number, $2,597,564. School, 69.0, regional school district, 69.1. The assessment, the request from the schools is $9,424,428. Total regional school district requests, $9,424,428. John?
I can speak to the second.
Please, yes.
In October, over the course of just a few days, I had many people email me this document called "A Perfect Storm: Cities and Towns Face Historic Financial Pressures." A report from the Massachusetts Municipal Association says that it's going to be a very tough year budgeting for cities and towns across Massachusetts. I think the key sentences are the first two: the cities and towns across Massachusetts provide many of the most essential public services, including everything from clean water and safe streets to high-quality schools and dependable emergency services. These are quality of life services that impact the lives of residents today. Offering vital services requires substantial expertise, consistent leadership, and adequate funding. I guess I would say we got 2 of 3. We didn't really get the funding. This is a document that talks a lot about the strains that towns have been under, which are very similar to the strains that districts have been under. Essentially, the state not really providing significant increases that are able to keep pace with some of the cost drivers that we have, like the health insurance that we talked about earlier, which the schools face, much like the district. Anyways, earlier in the process, we began with the goal of bringing forward a level services budget. We brought forward a budget that receiving feedback from the towns we could see was not going to fit for the mission of a perfect storm. Between the months of January and March, we reduced that level service budget by $2.9 million. That included 10 positions and 8 incidents. Last week we issued an additional 19 pink slips in case the budget doesn't pass. So I guess I just wanted to say that for everyone here supporting this budget is really. I remember coming to the district, sitting in the old hall, and Mr. Davenport saying, "Okay, Mr. Superintendent, now it's the time for us to begin bringing this district to #1 in the state." Well, at that time, Green Meadows was about in the middle. You get a ranking every year. Between that time and now, the ranking has gone from, say, middle of the pack to 77% now. And I think, with 10 position reductions, maybe we'll be able to tread water. But with 19 additional, there's no way. There's no way. So it's really important that this budget pass. And thank you for supporting it in warrant. I just hope everyone supports the budget.
John, just so it's clear, in the budget request, which the school committee has voted, what reductions does that include?
The 10 positions I was talking about.
Yeah, and what are those positions?
So, there are 3 instructional positions. It's 1 PE position. And it's a number of positions, that happen to be vacant at the time because of, retirements or transitions that we decided to not fill. Some of those are in maintenance department. A couple of those were class size positions that we actually hope to, put in next year to address crowding at the middle school that we just won't do.
And the additional pink slips which you granted, that you issued, that's in the event that the budget comes out at a lower figure than you've requested.
That's correct.
And what are those positions?
Those were,
One of the kindergarten teachers who live in town, my kids would remember as well. There's I'm so happy to come to work where I live and find my community. And had a wonderful year. We don't want to leave. It's amazing. Right, we used to do. It's just heartbreaking here. Like, and people I work with, teachers. Now.
but to answer the question directly, the director of the other 19 positions was all teachers hired after August 25th, which is the start of this.
So that's an additional 19 positions?
Correct. Thank you.
Okay, well, hold on 1 second here. Phil had something.
Two questions. You said Green Meadows went to the top 7.
Minchog is also in the 70s. I want to say it's like 72, 73, 74, somewhere around there.
Oh, what about the kids?
Middle school is 60.
There are reasons for that.
Well, I still have a second. You said there were 10 slips first,
Right.
but there's really only 3 because the other are on the position.
Correct. And some of those are doubles because you have the person affected and a person
But
that's
still,
bouncing out.
93. And the student count,
But it's 4 positions of actual positions that are currently filled. And student
count,
we're about 2,875 right now. About the same. We've been basically stabilized.
There's a question over here.
I teach, I live in town, schools are wonderful here. I teach in a district which had some money mismanagement 2 years ago. We paid slipped 121 staff members and we are flat. So we need to support our schools because it is awful. Our current classes are up 30-minute class. We really need to think about this.
Yeah.
My question that is on the same lines is with these additional cuts, these additional increases, what does that do to our class sizes in our growth grades? And what additional concerns does that bring you? And how are we able to maintain our positive growth in terms of where we stand in the schools if we're eliminating resources?
Well, every additional reduction would increase class size. Every increase in class size would make it harder to continue forward.
What are our class size? I think that
We're above the state average right now in terms of class size, which is bad and at the level. It varies by grade level right now. In this, someone said there's reasons right now that the school that has the largest class sizes are the middle school. Some of their, we actually just did the MSBA application, so that should not put that. And class size in 4 classes. I think it was high 20s right now.
we know what the estimated creep of that number is.
Well, you know, it really depends where the reduction can go and how much is the budget is off. Like if the budget is scaled by $1, it would be minimum. If it was off by $500,000, it would be very.
So if all of those layouts happen,
All of those were to happen. you'd be talking, you'd be probably doing that. Probably.
I have a question.
Go ahead, go ahead.
So I have a question. The kindergarten teacher just spoke and said she got a pink slip. So there's only 2 kindergarten classes at Green Meadow. So that'll be 1 kindergarten class with all the children that are coming in.
Well, they were not, I'm not saying that it's 100% certainty would be the outcome.
Right.
It would again depend on how much the budget failed by. If it was a large failure, then.
Yeah, that's a
If it
full
was a
class.
smaller failure, then we can make up choices.
Correct.
Right now, that's how it stands, but there is also the possibility to move the, resources from other buildings, or a couple of things, but at some point, you can only cover things, full resources so far, you end up with gaps somewhere.
The massive document happens to the future foundation, along with the success of these kids and the town. Don't support.
Depends on the certification, if you're not in the teacher side, not on anymore, so.
Hold on 1 second, please. Lisa, you had something?
I remember one thing. These teachers go beyond, above and beyond. They bring it into the bring it behind the stuff. I know. I got it all in school. It's for the story by and we're laying them off. I can't find a better way. There you go. I went to school with my nation. And I want foreign birds to leave. So I gotta find a way. Do something.
Can you tell me what this is right now between for enrollment and then
It's roughly 80-20. Doug can probably give you the.
Well, what are the current regards?
Yeah.
Okay, yes, I'm sorry. Thank you for waiting. What's your question, please?
Yet, and is this something that has to be better?
Well, no, there is no contract, and there is something that carried in the budget, which we don't know what the number is. It's a number that they think is something that's within reason. Frankly, beyond that, I don't think tonight's the appropriate place to go down that path. Yeah. Anything else? There's a couple things I want to say. Lisa?
Understand that you're no longer going to have instructional coaches. 3 that you're not going to fill.
That's correct, even if the budget passes.
Because I'm not really there on what this.
Teaching for this support the entire school and ensure that there's assistance. Region to the buildings and also with this she does not have school school and so they support that just probably
stability for the school, student readiness, that's what a lot are not. So we're already at a detriment and we think about successful demographic. We are.
They serve the elementary schools as split time.
Let me add a couple of things. starting with the fact that there's a finance and operations subcommittee that the school committee has. And on that subcommittee, there are representatives in both Hampden and Wilbraham, as well as the administration and the school committee. And we start meeting in, was it December? And we have these discussions at a pretty granular level in terms of what each community is going to be able to support in that year. So this is not the first time when we receive this assessment letter that we we see a number. The regional agreement calls for the allocation between the towns to be determined by the enrollment split as of October 1st each year. For years and years and years, that was 25%, 75%. With the shifting of Thornton Burgess to Green Meadows and to Wilbraham Middle School and the initiation of litigation, that shifted. And it dropped down to last year, or maybe it's this year, just under 19% or just over 19%. Each 1% shift in the budget is roughly, what was it, $380,000, something like that. This year, that pendulum started swinging back in the direction of Hampden. So the assessment which we received has roughly a 1% increase in it over and above the normal assessment. The other half of that statement is that for the past 3 or 4 or 5 years, Wilbraham has been experiencing the same thing. The pendulum was going in their direction. So they were picking up a larger and larger share of the increase in the assessment. So that's why this year, Hampden's ability to contribute to the state, to the school budget is the limiting factor in the school's budget. The last few years, Wilbraham's ability to pay was the limiting factor. The last thing I want to say is, and it goes to the comments that you made about remembering when it's time to vote, is the legislature in this current administration has not been supporting public education. A larger and larger share of the responsibility for paying for education has been shifted to the cities and towns. We are what's known as a hold harmless district because we have declining enrollment. What that means is that the increase that we receive through the state school funding it's a flat figure. The governor put in a request for $75 per student increase in the budget. The legislature, are they looking for $150 per student? $160. It's an improvement, but it doesn't go anywhere near covering the actual costs, the increase in cost of educating students. I don't have it off the top of my head, but the per pupil expenditure is somewhere up around 20. How much?
Thought it was 18,000 and some change.
Yeah, I think it's over 20,000 per student now on the per capita, the per student expenses. So do remember when it's time to vote that the people who are representing us could be doing a better job. The amount that we as a town can afford to pay is being stretched to the limit. And assuming that we can pay it, that we have the capacity within the budget to raise the funds, the other part of the consideration is the impact on the people that are paying the bills. In this current year, our taxes in town went up about 10%. The average tax bill went up about 10%. We don't have a projection yet in terms of what this will do to the budget. It's not going to be 10%, but it will still be a substantial increase. It'll be more than 2.5%. That's for certain. And that's with these reductions in schools and level service in other town departments. So I'll step off my soapbox now. I'm sorry, somebody have John?
One other point I wanted to make, the Selectboard starts this process in January, start soliciting budget from different departments. We get them to work with the advisory committee, we work with the department. We have a lot of requests that come in. And because of the numbers that we're able to work with, as Doug said,
earlier, they were looking at a potential maximum available money, roughly $900,000. Between regular operating budget and the proposed school budget increase, which they really worked to bring down, it left no money for any other capital requests. We're probably gonna have to bring those back in the fall town meeting. And you would typically call free capital. Bring down full funding. And Doug, you can give the speech, free capital, either free or capital. Basically, it's unexpended money from budgets. See here, you figure 50,000 per salary, somebody quit, you didn't use it, that money rolled, you can revoke it. You figure $500,000 extra. State. People like more hard, we could get 7 of them. I bet that's one of the revenues. So some of that money could potentially go toward things that we're not going to see in the one. Highway department needs new dump trucks. We took it off because it's not the year in order. I think they've done a great job. And the departments that work with the select board, playing there now. But Doug and the board made a fairly good point. Even at this number, there's going to be pain to people in town. We all saw a big increase last year. We want to protect everybody, but this is going to need an increase as well. But what do you think Hampden is? Hampden is a community that protects, takes care of its people. And I've only been here 150 years. Many people are coming out. People can get into what happens. Sometimes it's not fun to see the problem in place. Once it's done,
Can I just add one thing?
Sure.
I think it's important for people to remember that the advisory board makes recommendations. Okay, so when you came in and you picked up these budget sheets, it's missing one column. And the last column will be the recommendations of the advisory board. But it's the voters at town meeting who are gonna decide the budget. It's not the advisory board, it's not the selectmen. Okay, all we do is, given all of the information that we've collected since, and not only do the selectmen meet with all of the departments, advisory board meets with all of the departments as well. So that column that's missing right now is purely recommendations of the advisory board. The final say is going to be May 11th at 6:30 at town meeting. That is going to approve the budget based on the recommendations or make a motion from the floor to increase a line item on the budget or decrease a line item on the budget. But it's important to remember that it's the voters. Okay, not the advisory board, not the select board, but the voters that are going to ultimately decide what gets financed. Where do you want your money to go? So that's all I have to say.
Tim?
Somebody said earlier, remember when time for that's. Are we calling our reps and senators? Are we calling the head of the House Committee on Education and the Senate Committee on Education? Superintendent shared with us over the last 20 years, towns like Springfield have had increases of base money better than 30%. Same time, this community got 8%. That's not fair, and it's not equitable. A kid facing trauma and this deserves the same resources the whole, and it's not happening. We need the political legislature and the government to do the right thing. I never spoke with it because I wanted to help out and make things better for these kids. I'm in the wrong direction. We should be adding programs, social therapy programs. Our kids in middle school ought to have hands-on activities. You know, a kid graduating from the I'm a high school export person teacher. It's extremely also helps them interact with activity. It'll take our ask something. We have to start getting back to educating the whole child, especially about. We've got
let me just finish the Article 7, which is there's two other items here on the budget. That's local debt, 70.0. 70.8 is the Minichog bond. That's $477,538. 70.10 is the police department building bonds. That's $204,750. Total government debt, $682,288. I'm not going to read that grand total figure because that number is no longer accurate. Does anybody have any further questions or comments regarding Article 7 before we move on? No? All right. Article 8 is the Hampden-Wilbraham Regional School District Capital Assessments. This is a request from the school department for, I didn't write the number down. I've seen it 10 times, but I didn't write it down. Anybody have it as 34,000?
4,000.
I'm sorry, what was that? 34 what? 653. And this is a request for regional capital projects, a portion between Hampden and Wilbraham. It includes two items. One is a dump truck with a plow, and the other is more switches, computer switches. Combined equal $34,653. Article 9, Enterprise Fund Transfer Station. This is a request. Dawn? I think I know what you're going to say. Well, go ahead.
What am I gonna say?
You're going to say $15,000.
$15,000, but the long and the short of it is that the transfer station finance.
You must have had a pretty good education to come up with that one. Huh?
Well, it's good. They were schools. Basically, because the all of these and different fees, we used to get a reimbursement for some of the recyclables as of years. Actually, the transfer station running negatively. You're going to see that we've increased the bag fees starting May 1st. We're going to increase the sticker fees on July 1st to $80. I want to point out that that fee is still low for most of the area. Overhead sticker was $130. So this is what happens is we can't make it profitable, or at least make even if the state takes it out of our free cash. When you see some dump increases, hopefully we'll get the transfer station. Name, actually.
All right.
Number one solar.
So you're going to be looking for a $15,000 subsidy for the transfer station. Okay. Any questions on that? All right. Article 10, funding for Hampden's 150th anniversary events.
So right now we have 20,000 towards this event. We are going to recommend no action on this at this point, but we want to keep it on there to keep the awareness on the event. We are looking for volunteers, again, forming a committee. Now we're looking at 2 years away. So, and they want to step up. Steve Bryan right out there.
Actually, is there like a sign up on the website for that? Just something where people can express their interest?
No, they're plus, and then you got nothing, so. No.
All right. More to come on that. But for purposes of town meeting, no action on Article 10. Article 11, school resource officer for the high school. We have a number, this is a situation where this is the police officer that's stationed at the high school. Wilbraham pays the salary and the expenses, and then they send us a bill for our portion of the expenses. So it's done on basically on a retro basis. The number that we have, Ryan, is that 14,210. Is that the correct number?
This is pretty much this year analysis.
Okay.
We've always treated it as you're billing us for what we paid the guy for the previous year.
Right.
And now they're stating it as this is the expense going forward for the next year.
So Wilbraham wants to get paid contemporaneous with the expenditures.
But on the other hand, Dick, I think, said we haven't even gotten the bill for that.
All right, let's not say too much about it then. Yeah. 14,210 is the correct number? Okay. All right. Article 12, prior year bills. Any bills? No bills. Article 13, community preservation. There are 2 requests for community preservation funds. One is for rehabilitation of Nickham Field, as it's called, which is the upper field at the rec. That's a request for $25,000 to essentially rebuild the infield. Any questions on that? Okay. Well, we have here somebody from Parks and Rec right here.
So it's Sunday where you can see kids twisting their ankles and it's a wet field in when it's perfect condition, you actually get known football games that one.
The second request is a request from the Minnetonka Land Trust for $60,000.
16 or 60?
$60,000 to purchase 18 point some odd acres on property that's basically on the backside of Cumberland Farms that joins the existing land trust property along the river. The purchase price for the property is negotiated at $40,000. The balance of $20,000 is for expenses such as surveys and legal fees and whatever other expenses they have to incur. Any questions on that one? Okay.
What are we gonna do with it?
Going to mark it off and let it sit there.
You said 60,000.
Well, 40 for the property and yeah.
So
Yeah. The Article 14, this is a repeal of the Community Preservation Act. This is something which the Community Preservation Committee thought prudent to bring forward to town meeting for a couple of reasons. One is that when we started the program back in 2001 or 2002, we received a state match of 100%. So for every dollar that we assessed ourselves, we received $1 from the state. That went on for about 6 or 7 years. Then what happened is more and more cities and towns started joining community preservation, and the pie kept getting sliced up into smaller and smaller and smaller pieces. The current year, the max what we received from the states, about 16% or so. Next year, they're projecting at 15.5%. We currently have about $560,000 in that community preservation account. 500, well, as of last month, $664,000 in that account. 110 of that is encumbered for the property on North Road. That's going to be the next article here, but roughly $500,000 there. And with the tax still going up the way it has, this is one of the few ways in which people can afford some relief to themselves. It would remove the 1% surcharge on your tax bill. First $100,000 evaluation is exempted. It's a 1% assessment on everything over that. Then we receive the state match, and then the funds that are expended have to be done in accordance with requirements that the community preservation statute has in it. But anyway, we thought this was something that made sense to bring to town meeting for people to at least have the opportunity to vote on whether or not they want to keep it or let it lapse. Yes.
So is the 60,000 coming out of that?
Yes. Yeah, any community preservation expenditures come out of that fund. And that fund's changing all the time because the tax bills get paid and there's always a little bit added to it. Phil?
I guess I'd like to point out that this is an optional program. It was passed 25 years ago. And of the 351 towns and cities in the state, I could say only 53% participated, or we could say more than 50%, maybe way you want to spin the word. But, 50% don't. And if you went further and looked at Eastern Mass and Western Mass is at about, only 40 communities west of Worcester participate in CPA. Now, the fund returns 15%, so that's a great return on the money. Well, this year we returned 15, and it's returned much more. So what I guess what I'm pointing to is, this is a chance just to say to us, still want a tax on the tax, because it doesn't affect the tax levy or the tax rate that this is over and above. Am I correct in saying that, Dick?
Yeah, it's not part of the levy limit.
Right, it's not part of the levy, so whatever tax bill is, we're all paying 1% for. And 25 years ago, they said, first 100,000 will be exempt. Well, imagine when your house was worth 25 years ago, as what it is today. And there's been no change in the amount of the exemption. So I guess it's time to say, do we still, I would like to point out though that over 25% of Hampden is owned by Hampden already. And that does not include the open space, farmland, 61A, 61B, recreation, forestry. It's strictly owned by the town of Hampden. It's about 25% of them. So how much more do we take off the tax rate? That's not the whole, I've seen the list. The CPA is paid for and it's tremendous. I mean, stuff that we might not give you, like the fence at the cemetery. There's a list, I mean, just on the website, it's 3 pages long, 4 pages long. I mean, it has worked for us in the past. What I'm saying at this juncture, can we afford another 1%? It's $100,000 a year. So, like you pointed out, it's a police cruiser. It's $100,000 worth of salary. That's the only reason I asked them to bring it up.
Don?
And just make it clear, speaking to this, like to point out, there's 201 towns that take part in this program. 58 of them charge 1% in surcharge. 80 of them charge 3%. There's 141 that charge over 1%. So obviously, the towns have a 3% maximum share. And the surcharge, it runs about $48 taxpayer. And that's of the 201 towns, that's the 12th lowest. We're 12 towns are lower than, only 12 towns are lower than us. Okay? For instance, Weston has the highest average surcharge of $741. Well, Wilbraham's at $92, Long Meadow's at $75, and this one. Since the 2021 town adopted it, we've surcharged $1.44 million and received $571,000 state match, which is about 39% interest over that period of time. In addition to that, in the last 10 years, we've gathered another $30,000 bank interest. We funded 48 projects, many of them council couldn't have done. 12 historic projects, 18 recreation, 11 open space, 7 housing projects. We fixed the sidewalk at the senior center. We built the park. We got equipment for the ball field. We got open space for traveling, for camps, for trails and things like that. Because of those trails, we've got $75,000 grant state to advertise those trails. I think the main point is that why I would like, what I recommend that this, recommend no vote on this, is that CPA is more than a tax policy. It's a declaration dealing with invest in preserving the character, the environment, the people, the community, now for years to come. It's like putting money in the bank, something that we want to, best make it for this, want to put an addition in the house, start putting money slowly. So that's
Thank you, Terry.
I've been on the Park and Rec Commission for about 10 years now, and we rely heavily on community. We have our little park, Memorial Park, which is it's a beautiful park in a country setting that work hard to maintain. Without CPC funding, it wouldn't. We would be missing the pavilion, we would have anything, we wouldn't have a landscape. It's definitely benefits the town, and without that, Park and Rec just doesn't have the budget funding in place. We put in the pavilion, and upcoming now that PWB is being used as town hall, where the Parks and Rec offices, we have fields in the back that could use a lot of. We're hoping in the future to develop some projects to make that more usable. The basketball court is a pretty tough day. I mean, it would be great to have a track record too. So in the long run, everyone's going to let that happen.
Say if we're going to take to cut and reduce school funding, things like gym teachers, things like the tech programs, if we also cut into the funding pot, you continue to absolutely cripple the teacher investments community and here invest in it. If you're not willing to support or even increasing school budget or maintaining the simple budget, we're not going to have appropriate teachers or reducing classroom time in gym classes because we don't have the staff to support it across the district. And we're also not supporting investment in parks and recreation, where we're going to not have a proposed play schedule, we're going to not have as many physical education programs in the town. What are you doing here?
Okay, hold on. So, John.
Just a quick point,
question. I think it would be important for folks to know that we have applied on CPC funding for playground upgrades. And I'm just wondering, what effect would Article 14 have on 13 if it was passed?
What effect would, I'm sorry, again?
We've already got the money tonight, this is future. We got $500,000.
If there were a revocation, it would be in a future year, probably starting in FY 2027.
Doug, did you ever get an answer to the question on whether if we drop out, we can re-enroll?
I spoke to basically the guy that wrote the bill, and he works for a community preservation coalition. They have a few extra minutes. They have a great website, and you go on and look at all kinds of data about our town and all the other towns that are in the Community Preservation Act. He said no towns have repealed CPA. He said there's nothing in the statute about after if you repeal it about being prohibited from coming back in. If you do repeal, there is a provision about outstanding tax bills and how the revision doesn't eliminate those bills, but there's nothing that prohibits, coming back into the program. Phil?
Two things. One, I wonder, I might have been confusing. I didn't say don't fix the spray part, but why aren't they doing it with a warrant portion and voting on it at the time the money's needed, as opposed to establishing a bank account? How many bank accounts are growing now? And it's a bank account that's used once a year, and there's free cash. I mean, the town has other means of money. We could vote on these projects as they appear, not as out of the fund that we have. Well, okay.
Don, I'm gonna ask you to hold it there, because this is something which obviously it's going to generate a lot of discussion, because it's an interesting issue and there's a lot of sides to it. But just looking at the time, and we do have to finish the rest of this, and advisory does still have to vote recommendations tonight. So, all right, go.
If you take the $60,000 this year, what's the other thing for the field?
25,000.
25,000, so it'll be $85,000. We're like here at our levy limit, so that probably wouldn't get them. Right, you're 896, but put another 85,000 on it, that probably wouldn't get them.
You're saying if it was not through CPA?
Well,
I mean, that's the risk, obviously. Yeah.
That's the risk.
Yeah.
But also move on. I'm sorry.
You already said we were done with this topic.
The only thing I'm saying is $50 was mentioned. It's only $50, but so isn't the police cruiser, and so isn't a lot of things. $100,000.
All right, John.
I think Don had mentioned before, it's the only account in town that makes 17%. And that's, I wish we could get that on every dollar the town has in the bank. So that does come to play. You can find other accounts like that.
All right, so more to come at town meeting on this issue. Articles 15 and 16 have to be taken together to understand what's happening here. Article 15 is a rescission of a prior appropriation for purchase of land on North Road. This actually was a CPA request that was done in 2024. And Article 16 is the purchase of 2.6 acres on North Road. The land trust purchased a 4 and some odd acre piece of property on North Road with the intent of splitting it in half, using half of it as a trailhead for trail up to Mount Vision where town owns property, and selling off the other lot to keep it on the tax rolls and probably build it and have a house built on it. In the process of going through this and surveying it, their site person basically recommended that they switch the lots that they had planned on using. So essentially what's happening here is what was going to be the trailhead lot is now going to be the building lot. And what was going to be the building lot is now going to be the trailhead lot. So exhibit 15 is to rescind it and exhibit 16 is to revote it. It's no new money. It's just simply another reauthorization of the appropriate piece of property. Anybody have any questions on that? Oh, good. Thank goodness. All right, Article 17 is amendment to the posting location of town meeting warrants. So the housekeeping issue, I assume, because of the moving over to TWB. Yes. Article 18 is the Advisory Committee Reserve Fund. That's an account which the Advisory Committee has the authority to expend funds from with a vote for unexpected and unanticipated expenses. Traditionally, we've put $25,000 in that account. And if there's unanticipated expenses, we can cover it from there. Article 19 is the General Stabilization Fund. That's going to put money into a savings account. Exhibit 20 is reducing the tax rate. Those are the Articles 19 and 20 are the ones that we typically act on in the fall when we actually know how the year is closed out, what we have available for excess revenues. That concludes the warrant. Does anybody have any questions about any of the specific articles, about town meetings just in general? If not, then that will conclude the hearing. Thank you very much, everybody, for coming out. We appreciate it. And with that, we are going to move to another location.
Close the public hearing.